Okay, when you zoom in and you try do some crazy shit like line an entire sleeve on a finger, look what happens. Massive brush size, you can't do it. The design's gonna look like trash.
Ever notice how when you just start tattooing, everyone has a sick idea they want you to tattoo? Your buddy wants a full sleeve, brother wants his dead dog's face on his leg, your auntie wants like a butterfly she saw on Pinterest 10 years ago, and you're just sitting there like, I've just tattooed a grapefruit and it looks like shit. Here's the thing, all of those designs that everyone wants to do in the beginning, most of those are gonna be too hard for where you're at right now. And if you attempt them, you're gonna end up on Snake Pit. For those of you who don't know, Snake Pit is an Instagram page where all of the worst tattoos in the world are posted. And it's where I used to go as an apprentice to make myself feel better about my own tattoos. And nothing will make you feel more secure about your own tattooing than seeing someone else tattoo a line that looks like it's got brain damage. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can use to make any tattoo design easier. I've taught this to thousands of artists so they can walk into their first tattoo feeling confident instead of shitting their pants. For each of the items on this list, I'm going to give you a universal rule that you can apply to any tattoo design that you're working on to make it easier, and then show you exactly how to implement so you can do it on your next piece.
So when you go to design like this dagger here, you can see that it's got some really long straight lines in it. If you're just starting out, it can be quite daunting because any little wobbles along this line here, it's going to stand out a lot, okay? And you're very easily going to be able to see it. So how can you make this easy to do? Well, one way that you can do it is you can break the lines up. So you just put some little tiny hacks in the dagger. Okay, so you can see how I've got these tiny little hacks in the dagger. And what this does is it just breaks up those really long lines. So instead of having to do it all in one go, we can do it in smaller sections, which is going to make it easier. And plus, another thing that this helps with is if you're tattooing this design and then you go a little bit outside the lines and then you come back onto the stencil, it's not going to ruin the piece because you've got all these other hacks in the dagger. It's going to look intentional, which won't completely mess it up. So that's one way of doing it. Another thing that you can do is just put stuff over the dagger to break up the lines by adding more to the piece. So for example, if you wanted to add flames, you could add little lines just like this. So you can see how with these flames, all of these little spikes come over those really long lines, and again, breaks them up into even shorter sections, which would make them easier to tattoo. Another thing you could even do is if you made the flames organic with uneven bumps and, you know, curves on them, that's going to make those easier still to tattoo, because anything organic is going to be much, much more forgiving than perfectly straight lines. Another thing that we could do is also just put some leaves over the top of the dagger. So if we just get a separate layer going, you never want to do stuff on the same layer. And we put that, say, over here. Then all we have to do is just make sure that it doesn't have to fold all the way around to the back of it, but it's just a good way to do it without taking up a whole lot of extra space in the piece. And then you just have to reference and then selection tool, select everything, invert, and then you go to the dagger. So you can see how that paddle nicely overlaps over the blade and it hides a little section of it. Again, gonna make it easier to tattoo because those long lines are broken up into smaller sections. The next thing you want to avoid is tattoos with symmetry. The human body isn't perfect, it's oddly shaped, and when you try and put a design that is perfectly symmetrical on an uneven canvas, it's very difficult to do. It can be done, but if you're just starting out, I strongly recommend avoiding doing this because it's very, very unforgiving. Now, if you're going to tattoo something like a skull, a butterfly, a face, or whatever, instead of having looking at straight on, you want to just at a 3/4 view or a side view, and you can still do a lot of the same types of designs. They will look a little bit different, but they'll be much, much more forgiving if you do mess up a line. Which means, guys, leave the mandalas, the sacred geometry, the perfect circles, leave them till much later on in your career. Get the basics down first, and then you can tackle that stuff later. Just remember though, if you are going to do faces either at a side view or a 3/4 view, you want to make sure that they're facing forward. Later on, when you get a little bit more experience, you can break this rule a little bit, but when you're starting out, make sure that the design always faces forward. It's going to look a ton better. You can see on this piece here, it fits the arm really, really nicely, caps with the shoulder, but when you turn it around the other way, it just looks weird and it doesn't quite fit in. You got the leaves going up into the armpit here, and yeah, it just has the tattoo facing this way, which is not going to look good when you see that on an actual person. Always make sure face is face forward. The next thing you want to do is draw with fixed brush sizes. This is one that a lot of new artists skip, and they zoom in and in and in on the design until it gets massive, when even the smallest part of the body looks just as big as a half sleeve. They put a ton of detail in there, and then when they zoom out and they go to put it on an actual person, it looks like this. This design here, I just took it off Pinterest. It's actually a full sleeve. But when you zoom in enough, you can fit an entire sleeve on a finger. That works on a screen, but it doesn't work on somebody's skin. It just looks like a mess because there's so much detail crammed in. Not only does this make the piece harder to tattoo, but it's also not going to age as well, because over time, those lines in the skin are slowly going to start to expand. And if you've got lots and lots of little details, they're all just going to close up and the design won't be readable. You see, when you zoom in and in and in and you reduce the brush size enough, you can actually get nice and thin lines, which look thick, but then when you zoom out, that's actually, you know, a tiny little speck. So the way that you prevent yourself from doing this and zooming in too much and then creating a design with way too much detail that's just not going to work on an actual person is to use brushes with fixed sizes. It's okay to use whatever when you're sketching, but when you get to your outlining brushes, you want to have fixed sizes so that you can't mess with the size at all, no matter what you do with the sizing panel on the left. If you don't have those different brushes, you can just go to the calligraphy set, use the monoline brush, and then you can alternate between 15 and 20% sizing. You get two nice line weights. And what that will do is with the 20, okay, when you zoom in and you try and do some crazy shit, like line an entire sleeve on a finger, look what happens. Massive brush size, you can't do it. The design's gonna look like trash because the brush doesn't change size no matter how much that you zoom in. When you zoom out, that's actually still like quite small, but you can see that because the design is so shrunken down, this is how clunky and awkward it would be to get your needle in, and you just would not be able to get any detail whatsoever in this piece because your liners are massive by comparison. So if I was going to draw a design for a finger, which I absolutely hate doing, but just to show you guys an example, I'll do it. You can see how much more simplified the design is, and I'm forced to do it simplified because the brush is so thick. If I try and put in all those little details, you're not going to be able to tell what it is, and it's just going to look terrible. Even then, if you were to push it and put your thinnest liner that you possibly had, so it's a much more simplified fish design than, say, what we had before, which was designed for an entire sleeve. So the idea is you want to stick to 2 or 3 line weights when you're designing a piece, and those line weights will reflect the different sizes of the needles that you use. So if you use a 14, a 7, and a 3, then you'll have like a thick, a medium, and a thin liner. And then that way, when you tattoo the piece and you'll see the stencil on the skin, you'll see the difference between all the 3 line weights, and you'll always know what needle to use. And the way that we do that is we hit the sizing panel, and then you press the little mover icon, and then you hit the plus, and then you'll have a set sized liner on the sizing panel. So then that way you can just jump between them, and it's always consistent throughout the entire piece. So that way, even when you do zoom in, you'll be forced to tattoo something that is readable because of the sizes of the brushes will prevent you from going too small and too intricate. So set your line weights and stick to them. The only exception to this rule is if you intentionally draw the piece way too detailed and way too small and way too intricate with the intention of blowing it up so they can fit in a bigger area of the body. Okay, I used to work with this guy when I was an apprentice. He did a lot of Japanese style tattoos, and I bumped into him one day. He was out the back drawing this really detailed, piece, and it looked like it was going on, a calf or a forearm or something like that. So I asked him about it. It's like, bro, why are you putting so much detail on such a small tattoo? I thought you told me not to do that. And he's like, no, dickhead, this is a back piece. So then the next day he comes in, and then when he puts it in the photocopier and blows it up, all those tiny little intricate details that made the design look fucked when it was small, they all stretched out and it looked perfect when it was supposed to go on someone's entire back. So in that scenario, it makes sense to add more detail than what you need at a smaller size if you have the intention of blowing it up. But if you're doing smaller tattoos, which you absolutely should be when you're starting out, then it makes a lot more sense to draw the design to size, lock your brush sizes so that you are forced to limit the amount of detail that you put into the piece so that it ages well over time. So the next thing you can do is incorporate organic shapes into your designs. When I first started out tattooing, I used a 3.5mm stroke machine. It was an injector. Great great machine for shading and color realism, not the best for line work. What would happen is because it was a 3.5mm stroke, it was terrible for line work. I hated it, and I had a lot of trouble with lines very, very early on. For many, many tattoos, my lines were cooked. So what I started doing was I actually changed the way that I draw. I would actually put organic shapes and these jagged lines into my actual designs to compensate for how bad I was at lining. And eventually, after doing that for a while, I found ways of making it actually look good without taking away from the final look of the piece. I don't have that problem anymore, but it is still something that I incorporate into my designs because it's just, I've been doing it for so long now. It's kind of part of, my style and the way that I draw. So what you can do, right? If you look at traditional style clouds, they're like perfect little circles, okay? Which is very difficult to execute. A lot of traditional style tattoos rely on perfect execution and being ultra clean, and that's what makes them look good. But if you want to make that a lot easier, let's say you're doing some clouds, instead of doing perfect circles, you intentionally put these little divots in. So then that way, when you tattoo this, not only is it going to be extremely easy to do because all these little jagged lines, if you make a mistake anywhere on this line, it's very easy to recover and make it look good. And if you do it right, you can actually make it look really good too. The trick is you want to use it sparingly. If you just do a wonky line throughout the entire tattoo, it's going to look fucked. But if you use it sparingly, it still looks clean, and all of those little bumps, they all look intentional. So if you make any mistakes, any other point in this line, then it looks like they were supposed to be there to begin with. And then you get a thinner liner. So you can see how I just outlined those small little clouds here. When you zoom in, like these lines are like jagged as. So when you're tattooing this, even if you go slightly off, it does not matter because again, it looks intentional and it fits with the rest of the piece because all of it has that organic little bumps and curves all the way throughout the line. And these organic lines can be incorporated into just about anything, especially background elements. It works amazing for clouds, flames, water, rocks, leaves. So you can even do it with script. If you put little chips or little hacks in old English lettering, it can break up those perfectly straight lines to make that easier to tattoo as well. And you can put it into the main parts of some pieces as well, like especially with skulls, very organic. You can get away with a lot. It makes it significantly easier to tattoo. It just looks older and like more worn and hacked up. By using those organic shapes and making those slight stylistic adjustments, you can make a tattoo significantly easier to do. The only thing that I wouldn't use it in is maybe sacred geometry or mandalas or something like that. There are limits to it, but there are a lot of designs that you can do this with that will make them substantially easier to tattoo. The last thing that you can do to make your designs easier is just completely remove the term fine line from your vocabulary. Anytime that you use a 3RL, it is extremely unforgiving. Every little wobble will be highly visible in the final result. Whereas when you start to use thicker needles, they are a lot more forgiving. Any tiny little bumps aren't as big in relation to the actual thickness of the line. So you can get away with a lot more, which is why I always recommend 9-round liners as a very good start for beginners because it's thick enough that you don't have to worry about any tiny little shakes appearing in the final line, but it's also thin enough where it's easier to saturate the skin and penetrate the skin and get a nice solid line width. This is why I often start out beginners on traditional because it uses one thick, bold line weight through the entire piece. So if you're starting out, having thicker lines in your tattoos will make them easier to do. Now, if you're not a huge fan of trad, which has a lot of thick, bold lines in it, there are ways to stylize your pieces to incorporate these thicker lines into them. For example, I've got this neo trad tattoo here. If I wanted to make some of these lines easier to tattoo, I'd add a power line around the very outside of the major parts of the design. And I'd put this in the stencil. So you can see on the very outer edge of the skull, I put a much, much thicker line around here, and there's multiple ways that you can do this. You could put this in the stencil itself, and then you could outline each side of this line and then fill it in. A really good example of this is an artist by the name of Danny Surrett. We did a seminar with him a little while back, and this is the method that he uses to do it. Or you could just line it once and then use a round shader or a mag to thicken it up. Or you could just go straight in with a mag and then brush that in with say like a 7 or a 9 mag and get like that really thick, chunky line there. Now, when you have lines that are this thick in your design, you can't put them everywhere. Otherwise the piece just gets a bit overcrowded. You only want to put that around the parts of the design that you want to stand out and pop, but it does make those areas much more forgiving. If you go a little bit off the stencil, or if the line isn't perfectly even, when you thicken it up, you can correct a lot of mistakes that you make along the way. Now, the reason why having these thick lines in a piece makes them easier to tattoo is because one, it relies more on saturation as opposed to precision. They don't have to be a consistent thickness. If you look at this piece here, you can add parts of this line that are significantly thicker than other parts, and it just adds more character to the piece. Obviously, like there's limits to it. You know, you don't want to go like, you know, out to here because that's just going to look weird, but you can have slight variances in your line thickness, which again just makes them much more forgiving. The only drawback to doing these thick bold lines is you can't put them throughout every single line in the tattoo, but in the places where you can put them around the stuff you want to stand out, it's very difficult to mess it up. So just a quick recap, the first thing that we can do is we can break our big lines up into shorter ones by putting background elements over the main focal point of the piece. The next thing, avoid symmetry designs altogether. The human body isn't perfect, and if you try to put something that is perfectly symmetrical on an unsymmetrical part of the body, it can be done, but it's very difficult to do, and if you're just starting out, you don't want that kind of pressure. The third thing that you can do is to lock your brush sizes so that it prevents you from zooming deep into a piece, packing in a bunch of detail that makes it absolutely impossible to tattoo. The fourth thing that you can do is add organic shapes into your designs that easily hide mistakes if you make them. It makes those perfectly circular clouds that you see a lot in traditional much easier to tattoo when you have all these little bumps and stuff into the cloud that makes them look a bit more rough and stylized. And the fifth thing that you can do is stick to designs that have thicker line weights. When you're using thicker line weights in a tattoo, it's less about precision and more so about saturation, which is far easier to learn than getting perfectly straight lines with a 1 or a 3 liner. Now, if you do all of this, your tattoos will be easier to do and they're going to age a hell of a lot better, which is a huge hurdle for beginners because when you're this early into tattooing, you haven't seen what your work is going to look like 5 years down the line. And there is actually a way that you can test this. So if we look at this super meaningful tattoo that I have on my screen here, up the top, we have the super meaningful tattoo in a lighter, more dainty kind of calligraphy type script with very small loops between the characters in the words, okay? If we look just below it, same text, but a different font, but you can see the loops between all the characters are much more open and bigger. So over time, what's going to happen, you can duplicate it a couple of different times and you'll see what happens to each piece as they get older and older and older. Just duplicate it again and again. All right, so what you can see here is that the script up the top is a lot of it's closed up. All the loops between like all the characters, they're pretty much completely closed up, whereas the one down the bottom, they both thicken over time, but you can still see all the gaps in between the letters. And again, as they age even more, they become less readable over time. So this is a really good way to test what your designs are going to look like in 10, 15, 20, 30 years. There's not a way to stop this. Even the most perfectly executed tattoo will thicken up over time. You can see the lines in my tattoos. These were done with, I think it was an 11 round liner, and they look like they're thicker than a 14 round shader right now. It's only been about 7 or 8 years that I've had these ones on my arm, and they will continue to get thicker and thicker over time. The better the tattoo is executed and well done, the less the thickening will happen, but it's going to happen regardless. So you want to see that your design is still readable even 10, 20 years down the track. Some designs will still look good, but if you choose the wrong types of script, like you can see up here, all these little gaps, they're closed up, it's getting harder and harder to read, whereas the one down the bottom, you can still see all the gaps in between the characters. After 10 or 20 times of duplicating the outline and seeing what it still looks like, if the design is still readable, then congratulations, you've designed a piece that will stand the test of time if it's tattooed well. If you'd like to get some feedback on your tattoos from our team personally, the link for coaching is in the description just down below this video. And now that you know how to draw better tattoos, you want to make sure that you check out this video here, and it's going to break down exactly how to choose color palettes for your designs that are actually rooted in color theory so you don't have to guess.